Okay, everybody, it is 5:15, Thursday, June 27th, and this is the Marketing Communications Committee meeting at the City Hall Council Chambers. Reminder to turn your mics on and to use them so that they get the recordings to come through. The first item on our agenda is to consider approving the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from our previous meeting.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and that has passed. General agenda items for consideration. The first one is a summary Food Truckapalooza wrap-up discussion. And just to note that the report that was included as far as expenses and revenues in there is still not reflective of the final numbers, so there's still some numbers in limbo, but Emily was able to put this together for us. And I think just on the surface, it looks good, even with that, that ARPA money being included in there obviously makes it look better than the reality of it, but we still, I think, made a profit on it, so I think we're good. Hallie, do you have anything to expound on?
Yeah, with the revenue, what's not on that report is $1,000 from this committee that you guys had motioned and approved, and then $1,000 from the tourism grant, which I need to get invoices from Emily, and I emailed her today about that as well. The expenses would be the photo news advertising that we did for $500 and WDEZ Midwest Communications for $599. Those are the two that are not on there. And to clarify, the PA system that's on there is the Blue Jay radio time slot. It wasn't a PA system, it was them being there for the 2 hours.
Okay. All right, so hopefully we should be able to have this all buttoned up and wrapped up by next meeting. So is there any questions on that? Or Hallie, did you have anything else to add from the food truck stuff?
No, I have more people wanting to be in it for next year.
Okay, that's great news.
Did we actually use any of the ARPA fund, or is there still what was it, $9,500 left carried over for next year?
We used that money.
All of it.
So basically, we're using that money first, and then any of the donations will be.
Because we only had this year, next year, or something to use.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Item number 2: discuss and consider the May 31st revenue and expense reports, and those are. Wow! No wonder I can't see. Those are from Emily. And again, just a reminder that, half of the expenses are directly related to marketing, and the others are things that are beyond the scope of this marketing committee. So I don't know if anyone has any specific questions. Page 6 in the packet is more specifically geared towards the Food Truckapalooza or special events that we do, I think. But I guess that's just something to keep in mind for us to be watchful of as we get closer to budget time and as we look at upcoming contract renewals with Midwest Communications and things like that. So any questions on any of those reports?
I have no questions currently.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Next item, discuss and consider the shared photo library. And this was to be something we talked about sharing with Chamber of Commerce in the city, kind of combining a photo library just to be able to use for various promotion type things. So Nathan, you want to share with us anything that you were able to come up with? Or?
Yes. So Dustin and I came up with an idea. We're going to use a shared Google Drive. We'll get the emails of who's all going to have access to this, but we had kind of sat and discussed, okay, how do we get photos, and what are ways that we can even get our community involved in helping us promote Merrill. So I passed out today a disclaimer, a photo submission disclaimer that our wonderful city attorney wrote out for us, which basically says that any photo, graphics, artwork, image, or video, any kind of material that they would submit to us through a Google form would, at that point in time, give us the ability to use it with no repercussions of copyrights, anything like that. It still gives the person who submitted it the copyright to that photo, though, and their use for whatever. I didn't want to take away anyone's hard work or anything like that. That, to me, that's not the route that I wanted to go with this. So at that point in time, then, we would have the ability to use that for whatever way we needed to. And then Dustin and I will make sure it's in that Google Drive. So then the chamber, City of Merrill, not Maps itself, but the Merrill Community Media Team, excuse me, then have the right to use these images, videos, anything of that regard to promote the City of Merrill in any way. I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
Will these go through like some type of screening before we choose to add them to the library itself, or do they submit them directly to the?
So basically what's going to happen is this Google form is going to send that image or whatever that they send to us to a separate Google library that then wouldn't go, wouldn't be seen by us. It would be seen by Dustin or I, and then we would screen it, essentially, to say, yes, we're going to, we're going to allow this to be in our shared library. No, we're not. And we could get, let's say we get 1,000 of these submissions, we might only use, 100 of them. So some of these might never see the light of day, unfortunately. But that's just the nature of the beast at this point. So in this social media day and age, everyone takes a photo and video of whatever they want. So
Some of the photographers in town.
Scott, you want to use your mic?
yeah.
I know that there are photographers that may want to have credit for the photography, and so I'm not sure if that should be included in here, but that's probably something we're going to encounter where someone might say, you can use it, but I want credit for it.
And that is partly why we ask for name, and all those kinds of information,
Yeah.
because then at that point in time, we can give them that credit. I would never take credit for someone else's work. That's,
Oh, no, that's not the point.
yeah,
It's just-
and that's kind of the, because then we can bake on a, copyright, whoever it is, to that image when we put it into that shared library. That can be part of our screening process. So
Yeah, something to think about, and I don't want to belabor it, but is maybe something, would you like to have accreditation on this form, so that then we know we do it, and you don't have to follow up with anybody. If they check yes, then you know you do it. If
well,
they don't
yeah,
check,
so that could be on our Google form then.
yeah, just put that on there,
Yeah.
because someone are trying to build professional, want to get their name out there,
Yeah,
so.
because literally this is, just so that way
Yep.
we're legally covered. So that way, if anyone tries to sue for whatever image, it's like, nope.
I know,
we're-
I've seen.
we're
zillions of
covered.
these. Yeah, so that'd be the only thing I would say is to work that out so that people have the opportunity to say they want it.
And that it's easily understood in that shared library whose photo it is and if we need to give credit. So I don't have to
Yeah.
call you every time and say, hey,
Yeah.
Nate, do I need to give
That-
credit to who's this photo? That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
no, the way I wanted to do it anyways was because like if you're watching a documentary or something, and it's not say Discovery's doing a documentary and they use an image, but it's not their image at all, they'll put at the bottom, see the copyright symbol, and then who provided that image for them to use. So.
Similar to what's on the upright picture there, with Chris Schatz.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's something very similar to that, just to make sure that it's, that they get the credit that they deserve, and we get to use the image for what we're trying to do. So,
Okay. Any other comments or considerations, or we're just going to let these guys continue to move forward on this?
I think, honestly, we could have this up and running by probably next Tuesday. Like, in all seriousness, that's how far along we are right now. So this came together really quickly, and I want to thank Dustin Brown and Tom Hayden for moving on this and looking into this as quickly as they did.
Are there any fees for this? As
No.
far as I know, what was the one that you guys are using, your Dropbox?
Dropbox, there was a fee. This one does not have a
Yeah.
fee.
Yeah.
What was that called again? It wasn't like kayak or what was it called? Sherpa. Yeah.
Yeah. The only fee that we might incur is if this library gets too full, we might need like more storage, but Dustin said that's like probably close to like $12 a month if, depending on the storage amount that we want. So it's pretty bare minimum, I think, for what we're trying to do here. So, and I think that would fall under Dustin and the IT budget more than ours, but it's not like $120 or whatever would really hurt us. So,
Okay, any other comments or? All right, then, moving on, discuss and consider the standing banners. Hallie, you want to elaborate? I think we had given approval to purchase 2 more.
Yeah. So this is what Sarah brought today. This is what they use for the Chamber of Commerce. You have 3 of them. I would like to purchase 2 more that look very similar to this, just to keep it uniform between all of us, with our branding in mind. Sarah made a template of what you had, if you want to explain that.
Yeah, so this is one of 2 designs that I have. The other one is just 2 photos, and I basically mimic the M for the Merrill Swish. Scott was my second pair of eyes, too. So, but yeah, I basically was thinking instead of the Visit Merrill, a reason for every season, it would just be the logo with the actual tagline of Experience More to Life, and then trying to get photos. I mean, obviously it can still be outdoorsy silent sport potentially, but I was thinking more like the, fun kids at a parade or things like that. So.
Or some of the things that are unique to Merrill, I think would be good to kind of highlight.
Yep. So, I mean, kind of similar of like the outdoor playground vibe that you guys have done ads for. Our break rooms are nice, but our playground is even better. That kind of vibe I was thinking too, just that you can use in Merrill, but also just if you go anywhere else. So.
Okay. So you guys want to bring something back then to the next meeting?
I was hoping to, but that photo library would be very helpful because when I was going through all my photos, while they're nice photos, it's like there's a bird, there's a bridge, there's nothing.
Is it a blue jay?
It might be. But yeah, so I'm hoping to have more photo options because it won't take me long once I have the photos
Okay.
to place in there and bring them back. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully then you guys can bring something back for the next meeting. We
Yep.
can go
Shouldn't be
forward with it.
hard.
I guess I would be looking for something more identifiable actually in Merrill as far as Tree Arch Bridge or something where, this could be any place in Lincoln County, these photos. I would be looking, but that would be my thoughts.
Sarah, how many images would you need in order to make this kind of work? Just like another 4 like that?
Well, it depends if you want 2 more banners. You could do 8 if you want it to be this, like 2 of these for, like, you know what I'm trying to say? So 8 if you want 2 of these, or 4 if you want, and I'm sorry that we just had that one right now. 4 if you want like the M Swish, but it's very similar. It's just that
Okay.
it's an M Switch.
No,
so.
I'm, it's just it's a curiosity.
Yeah,
question.
and like I said, I would love to have more photos, but I also didn't want to put photos in, and then you guys are like, "Oh, we were thinking these types of photos," or total different types.
No,
of
no,
things,
that's
so.
perfectly fine. That's why I think this is it's a good discussion to have of like how many would we need. So
I mean, I think I told you the other day, I thought that was absolutely perfect description of our area. But as far as for the city of Merrill, could we add probably the best fire department in the state. Photo of them up front. Police department have another one like that that shows what we have. Police and fire.
That's really
yeah.
not
Industry.
necessarily our marketing gear, though. Our marketing is geared to experiencing more to life as far as, place to live, work, and play.
For branding.
That's
or-
safe.
Yeah, it's just more of a branding
And
thing.
protect it.
No, I mean,
Okay.
it's more of just a branding
Just
thing.
throwing it
right
out
now.
there.
No.
So I have a question, Nathan, if you could follow up with Tom. I'd love to get some pictures of people walking along the Riverbend Trail, at the Merc, stuff like that. Those are unique to the city. But I really don't want to pose them either, and I don't want to hand this out to a gazillion people saying, give me authorization. If kids are playing at the Merc and swimming, are we allowed to take photos and use those? If people are just publicly using the Riverwalk and we take photos of people pushing strollers or whatever down the Riverwalk, what could we find out what our legal rights are on public
So,
spaces or city spaces?
I can kind of speak on that just from my experience in videography. There's a yes, you have the rights to use them, but there's also they have the right to sue you for it because everyone has the right to sue everything. I mean, I'm sure Cameo could also speak to this from her experience with this.
You can't, because take pictures, especially minors.
Yeah.
So-
You could get a lot.
The part of it, one of the things that Draco and I try to do, like when we're doing some of our work, obviously, with public events, obviously, if you're out there in a public event, you could get filmed at any point in time, so there's no legal basis for suing. Now, and granted, we work at the school district, so, every student at this point in their life, at this point in Merrill knows that they could get filmed at any point in time for a school activity. However, if they're sitting there playing at the aquatic center, not something I truly want to do. Something we could do is obviously make it so that way that we're at such a long distance and you can see people are, at the pool.
Well, what we
But-
could do too is also maybe publicize that we want to take some photos and have people just sign a release and
Yeah,
allow us to do it.
And
That's-
that was
that's-
the other thing that we've worked on is this week as well, is making sure that our release form is up to date because it's probably been about 5-6 years since we looked at it, honestly. And I got Tom signed off on it saying, yes, this is still, what you have is still good to this day. So, and it covers us, and it does actually have a section on there that says, if subject is a minor, parent has to sign off on it. So that way we are fully covered. We're leaving nothing to chance with.
What if, with the submission form, what if somebody's out for the day with their kids and they're at the pool and they take their own picture and they submit it? As long as they filled out this form, then we're all good
Then we
and
should be,
hunky-dory.
yeah.
Okay.
The way we handle it at the library, because we have lots of youth programs, is we will often we'll take pictures from the back. So we don't see their faces, we see just the back sides of them. So when we take photos, we kind of really pay close attention to that. So that's one way to get around
Yeah.
that issue. So
Yeah, kind of making it so that way if you sent this photo to say, let's say Chicago, nobody could tell who any of the kids are,
Right.
Well, I think we're taking this a little too far. There would be no photos in the photo news or any magazine of any athletic event in high school or junior high if everybody had to sign a release, hey, can we use your picture? You were in this swimming event. So
Right.
if they're in public, I'm pretty sure that you can,
Bob, you
you
are,
can make an effort,
yeah,
but
Bob,
let's
you're
not
yeah,
go
you're
crazy about this.
No, you're 100% correct. If you're in public, you can get your photo taken at any
Absolutely.
time. But the way the world works today too is everyone can sue anyone for anything. It seems like, and just
That's why we have insurance,
No, that's
transfer
why-
risk. Let's move on.
no. That's why we're also trying to CYA.
Yeah.
So
Okay. We're good to keep moving forward.
I think we're
then.
good to keep moving
Yeah.
forward.
Okay. All right. Then the next item on the agenda is discuss and consider the 2025 Visitors Guide ads. So now that we're advertising again, just I guess whatever update you guys have, I think there's a August deadline to this, I believe, for the visitor's guide. I think it's,
I believe so, yes.
Yes, from what I was like,
Teresa,
Yep.
she's been heading this.
She's heading this. This year, there's no 15% discount like we experienced in the last couple of years that we've been doing this per page. And I believe, I forgot my paper upstairs because, yeah. But this year for 3 pages, you would get 10% off, and it would be like $2,500, whereas last year it was like $2,300. So it's $200 more for the same is what we're doing.
and that's for 3 full pages again.
Mhm.
Okay, so I guess the couple things to think about is, do we want to do the same 3 pages? Do we want to do 3 pages? Do we want to change them up? What do we want to do, I guess is,
Do we remember what were on our 3 pages? I'll be honest, my memory's a little foggy from a year ago, let
It is our
alone a
brand.
week ago.
Essentially, we have great schools, great playgrounds, outstanding playgrounds, the kind of, the yin yang between lifestyle and outdoors, because
Yep.
if we go back to the original concept with the marketing
Right.
plan was, we didn't want to just focus on the recreation, because people that we're trying to attract here want to know about housing and schools and jobs, as well as kayaking and canoeing and everything, so it showed the beauty of both.
Lori's on it.
Nice.
Okay.
And we don't have them together, we have them
Right,
spread
they're
throughout.
spread out.
Those 2, and then that one, there's
Yeah.
another one towards the back.
Okay.
Did we display in there the fire department or police department or anything like that, protective services?
No, we did not,
No.
because that's not essentially part of our branding of getting people to live and work here.
Okay.
Bob, your point about safety, your point about safety is well taken, especially with some of the markets that we're going after. And I think maybe one of the things we could do, not necessarily promote it at the level you're doing, but I think working that into some of our talking points, things like that,
Yeah.
about the safety. So,
Yeah, I mean, we have the best, I really do believe this is the best fire department in the state. The best building, the best trained personnel, and I think we need to add that to our advertising focus on, especially for the thought of bringing new businesses in. We're a small community with a full-time fire department that, you don't see that everywhere, and it's a big asset.
yeah, the marketing isn't trying to bring businesses in, because we don't have the people to fill the businesses with workers.
Yeah.
But we are trying to bring that 25 to 45-year-old individual or family in that age range, try to build up that base of population that we're losing. And, bringing in that age group, they start to build their families, and then we start building a more solid foundation. So that's really the focus of the marketing, is to get those people to consider moving and living and working here. But I do think, with some of the markets we're doing, if we have some talking points or some points in there about the safety, or or whatever, I think that's something we could consider. But giving it a full image is really not probably where we're at right now. But I do think it's something we could integrate somehow.
Yeah. I know, I moved a lot in the service, and the things I looked at were, of course, schools, police department, and how far are we from the fire department.
Yep.
And that's how we chose our houses, so just throwing it out there.
Okay, so I guess the overall decisions we need to make right now is, how many pages do we want to do, and do we want to do the same things that we had? Do we want to change them up at all for this year, or?
I think we should stay with the same branding that we're doing, but maybe change the pictures again like we did last year, or a couple of them, just to freshen it up and give a new eye. But keep a different house instead of the same house that we have on there. A different sunset, different view.
With our advertising, by the time we're sick of looking at it, people are noticing it for the first time. Because you have to do it over and over and over again. And so, I agree, we should keep the same headlines, same look, same everything, but, refresh it with some new pictures, which was just fine. But, these people pick up the visitor's guide, they leaf through it, they look at it, then they move on, they see it again next year. just reinforce it over and over again, those key points. So I agree with Hallie.
Okay.
Do we, one quick question, do we know who designed the actual, like, pictures and stuff? You did?
I designed the ads. I did the artwork for the ads.
I
Okay.
took the pictures.
Okay, so
I'll just get-
basically you would need the pictures
Yep.
in order to, okay.
Yep, I pop them out. I got a template set up for them
When would you want them by?
before the deadline.
Well,
I'll let you know when the deadline is. I'll
Okay.
email you tomorrow.
Hallie, maybe you
I
and
think it was
Scott can
August something.
kind of coordinate that together and bring
Yeah.
something back then for the July
Give me
meeting.
about a week
Okay.
to turn it around.
I'm only asking because I've got time to go and get photos and stuff, so.
I would love to have people, a family pushing a stroller on the Riverbend Trail. You can do that?
Yep.
Because that trail is really coming along. Oh, that'd be perfect. Wow, and can you have your grandma and grandpa there too? And
How about some deer?
But showing that young family walking along the river, all the cleanup that's been done on that, I think would be really powerful. I think showing the mark, but I don't know that we'll get that in this year, but that's something we should look at doing.
Like an aerial photo?
Drone photo of that.
What's that?
Drone photo of that. A drone photo, like you're
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
aerial.
Oh,
I know that Dan has some of those.
oh, that's a good.
That are even kind
Because you
of,
can't identify the people.
Also, Darren Poggle has a bunch of those.
Yeah,
He
he
gave
just
us
did one.
he gave us access to a whole bunch of drone footage not too long ago, so Draco and I got quite a few drone videos and photos that we can.
And that graduation photo that's in there now is actual students from Merrill, but it graduated a couple years ago, so.
Yeah, well, I can get you more.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm at graduation every single year, so.
Okay.
You'll make it one of these years.
My time was about 13
I'm
years
sorry, I
ago,
was
so.
Bad joke, bad joke.
okay, so we're just going to keep moving forward with
Yep.
this, and we'll make the final approval at the next meeting then?
Correct.
Sorry, Jim Grant, is that what you said?
No.
That's what she was about to say.
No, I said, so we're going to keep moving forward with this, and we'll make the final approval at the next meeting based off of
Yes.
what you bring. Okay. All right. Now we can discuss Gem Grant. If you want to just give us an update on what you're finding out and where you're at, and
I'm plugging along on this Gem Grant. It's more detailed and in-depth than I anticipated, but we'll get there. I'm probably halfway through it. So I don't know how to explain what I'm doing. They want to know all of the revenue and expenses from last year, the marketing strategy and plan. So I'm gonna talk with Cameo about that to see where we can grow from what we did this year for next year, because they want to see a new audience that you're targeting. And I'm not sure how to explain that when we did quite a bit of advertising as it was, because they want it pushed out further.
Well, we can expand our area then. if
We
that's
can.
the-
I just
I mean-
want to make sure we're doing it effectively to
Mhm.
match what the grant is asking for.
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Well, if there's anything that anybody can, if you need help on anything from
I will
anybody,
reach
just
out.
reach out and we'll see what we can come up with. I'm sure we can all figure something out.
yes.
All right. Item number 7, discuss and consider the Community Night Out event in August. That, I believe, is August 20th. And so
Yep.
I am assuming that we would want to have something there to promote and to, just be part of the activities. I mean, it's the city of Merrill. It's our fire department and it's our police department that are putting this on, so we should certainly be there. And
Yep. I have a table reserved to be next to you guys with electricity. We are in my report, I'll talk about the paper that I handed out about the Days of the Week series, but I want to be able to promote those on my computer during the Community Night Out event. So it's, when you read the papers, it'll make sense, but I think it'll be good for those videos to be playing in the background.
okay. And
The community night out, is that, we do that every month?
Every year.
Every
at the
year.
Oh, just one
center.
night?
Just one night a year.
Okay.
It's National Night Out kind of a thing.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the same night this year as National Night Out or not, but
I should coordinate that with the airport movie night. It's in August.
Because I think last year was like around August 2nd, but because the
Right.
fair's around that time.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh,
things are
yep.
getting moved, things I know things around the fairgrounds are shifting around in
Little
order
bit,
to
yeah.
accommodate with the fair having to be moved up a week, so.
Any other suggestions or thoughts as far as what we can be presenting or what we can have at the community night out?
Just about every department has somebody there, street department, water utility. I mean, police and fire have their ladder truck, and sheriff's department's there, and a lot of times the Flight for Life is there. So, I mean, there's plenty of promotion, and I think just with you guys having your booths next to each other, we'll have some literature there and handouts and everything else available. So, I don't know, you're more than likely marketing to people that live in Merrill, so it's not like you need to.
Mhm.
I don't know, might be a good idea to touch base with the airport commission and tie that in with in the night with the movie night at the airport, which they're having in August. I don't know the specific date yet, though.
Yeah,
Maybe.
nothing wrong with two separate functions in either where they have their own, so I mean, it's,
Yeah.
people want to attend one or the other, it's not.
Okay, well, any other comments or discussion on that item, or?
Nope.
Just keep working forward on it. Okay, item number 8, Chamber of Commerce update, and Sarah sent us a copy of her press release. So I think everybody's had a
mean-
chance to read it. Go ahead and.
Yeah, I guess that's like the kind of the tourism side of our hat, but just that Lincoln County in general saw a record-breaking year. So I think our efforts of marketing from our city communications and obviously tourism and going to all the trade shows and just all of that we're doing, I think it's working. So keep it up, team. I don't know. And then otherwise, just wanted to mention too, on July 18th, we pushed our Bankers Square concert. We were trying to do a series of it, but it just is proving to be harder to find people during the day to perform and within a budget. But we're hoping to have this downtown concert 11 to 1, and hopefully weather cooperates, but this way too we can advertise it a little bit more again. But Banker Square, again, just to draw people downtown business, to the downtown business area. So come have lunch with us.
Okay.
July 18th. It's Matea Joy performing, so. But yeah, otherwise we had a great golf outing, June 5th, so that was well attended. The rain held off, so that was really nice. It rained all morning, and then right before we went out to golf, it stopped, thankfully. So I think everyone had a good time. The weather cooperated, so.
All right, thank you. Thanks for providing that information too. It's good to see that, and I do think the fact that we are working together as a team with the Chamber and with the Lincoln County, I think that's proving to kind of exponentially have a bigger impact.
Yeah, we get lots of calls too about ATV and biking and just things like that lately, which is awesome. People are wanting to get out and about and enjoy the outdoors.
Okay. Item 9, discussion of any upcoming events to promote. I was just thinking if there's anything coming up this fall that we should be working on as far as trying to, be thinking about what.
Your mic died.
The airport minutes from last month, and they're going to be hosting a movie. The one that Bob must be talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
They're going to be hosting an aviation movie in the fall, but they don't have a date set. I think that was being discussed at this last meeting, but I don't have the minutes yet. What were you saying, Rob?
Your mic died.
My mic died?
Oh, there you
Nope,
go.
no, it's there.
I'm right here on top of it. Everybody else is a mile away. I'm sorry. I will use my outside voice all day long.
I have
Is
a
it
future
working
event
now?
that may happen. We don't know yet. It's going to be on next month's agenda for the Airport Commission. They're going to consider bringing back some type of air show, whether it be an antique show or a fly-in or something like that.
All right.
So it's on this coming agenda. It's
Keep us
next year. It's a
posted.
next year event, maybe.
All right, well, keep us
Okay.
posted.
And the preliminary works of celebrate the 150th celebration for Lincoln County has started. It was brought to pretty much everyone's attention like last week that it was 150 years that Lincoln County has been around. So
This year?
this year,
Oh.
yeah. So
2024?
yep. So October is when we're looking to have like a joint celebration with Tomahawk.
Time flies.
Right, I know.
We're
I can't-
halfway
it
through
was,
the
it
year
felt
and
like
we
just
just
yesterday. It
are
was
figuring
150
this
years
out?
ago.
And it's
you know.
150 years already.
So,
Okay.
but we've got a great team, obviously, the county and working with the two chambers and historical societies as well. So look for more on that in the next couple of weeks because we're obviously
Okay.
now jumping in to get
Well,
something out. So better late than never.
I'll just throw this out there. If we wanted to put together an event or help promote an event for a muskie tournament out here in Alexander, I've got many years' experience putting those together.
Oh, to put one together, or is there already one scheduled?
No. This would have to be submitted with the DNR now and all kinds
Right.
of stuff. But you only need like 2 weeks' notice with the DNR.
Okay.
As
Yeah,
long as
we're
there's no
just-
other event schedule, we could do it.
We're just talking about promoting what we know is out,
Oh, what we's already,
out there.
are we out there?
Yeah, what
Okay.
we know is already out there,
We know.
and especially for the fall when, let's face it, school starts, so a lot of people don't like to move around in the fall,
Okay.
but
But like the events that we'll be promoting are the Labor Day event going on with the car show and the fair, community night out. The Black Squirrel Scurry is a triathlon that they have. That'll be coming up
July
July
27th.
27th.
Can you hear Hallie in her microphone?
It's on.
Oh, now I can. You might have to speak a little closer.
I thought my
checking.
voice was loud enough too. So I don't know. But between the fair, the Black Squirrel Scurry, community night out, the October event with the 150th celebration will be pretty.
Squirrel scurry.
Black Squirrel Scurry, yes.
Enlighten me, please.
It is a triathlon that they do kayaking, running, and biking with the Prairie River. Goes around the Mark and out on the country roads up by 107. It's been going on for quite a few years.
yeah, since
participated myself.
2015, 2016, they've been doing it.
Okay.
150 years.
Not quite that long.
Nice. Who puts that on?
Greg Eichelkraut.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well,
So I have a question.
Sure.
And I think you said we do already have some fishing tournaments that happen here in Merrill?
Mm-hmm.
Because that seems like it's something maybe we could help promote a little bit more. I don't know. I mean,
It's hard because it's county, not city, because we're
oh,
generally not in city water limits.
okay, all right.
They're out by Lake Alexander, which is technically town of Merrill. So I don't know if we start
But it brings a
promoting
lot
that,
of visitors to town, so.
what that's going to open up for us to be promoting everything else. So
Okay.
I'm open to it. I just,
Well,
Yeah, it just,
promoting the events themselves, I don't know about honestly, but promoting the activity of fishing still is a huge.
Well, what I'm talking about is on our website, we could be, if it's an event, to get it out there on the website, on the social media, if we could help support it in that way. I mean, if it's, just thinking about
Right.
it, because
Yeah.
it's like the squirrel, the squirrel run, we help promote that, but we're not behind that, are we?
No.
Right? So it's just something that does, so, because fishing is huge and hunting is huge, obviously, here. And so if
Yeah.
there's one or two events,
Well, yeah.
not by my house, it's not huge. The deer are still all over the place.
what's what?
I mean, that Lake Alexander is a huge asset.
well, right. No, I totally agree. My parents
There's
live
more
on it.
trophy fish in there than you can catch.
Yep.
50 plus.
Okay, let's move on so we can get Cameo and Connor their time to explain their reports that they have brought for us. Okay, so next item is the monthly reports from Hallie. Is there any questions on her reports at all?
I'll answer any questions on that. I did hand out what Nathan Draco and I have been working on, and we're going to be doing the videoing, is that a word?
The taping,
Taping,
yeah,
yes.
the recordings.
In the next 2 weeks for these, and we're hoping that you guys like this idea of the Days of the Week series. Nathan, if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, in actuality, I mean, these are all going to be under 15 seconds. I mean, that's the general goal of all of them, obviously. Then shoot them off to Cameo and the team over there at Midwest Communications and get these out towards our marketing areas. So generally, you shouldn't see them here in the city on your YouTube advertisements or your, whatever other advertisements, which we can go into all the advertisements that they do with their report.
Right.
But at this point in time, I mean, we wanted to really highlight all the outdoor activities that we have during the summer. And then our hope is then to do all of our winter ones, maybe even fall ones, if anyone can give me ideas on what the fall ones and even our spring ones are once we get around towards those early areas. We were going to do our winter ones this last year. However, our winter, as everyone knows, was absolutely abysmal and horrific when it comes to the actual winter sports. So, with that being said, I don't have anything else unless anyone has questions on the actual videos that the team came up with.
I guess my only suggestion is that you kind of send these, if we can kind of pre-screen them or, before you put them out.
The goal is to have them screened for sure by Mayor Haas. I was going to throw Rod into those, but I can definitely make sure that this gets to the full marketing team.
Yep.
So that way everyone can have a quick crack at them, because we would like to have these to Cameo and her team
As soon as possible.
probably before our next marketing meeting, and honestly out there, because we are, let's face it, we are already behind when it comes to this, but this is also something that could probably be ran next year, I would assume, if we do it right.
Okay. I would just suggest for the fall, just to keep in mind to consider some of the housing and the relocation for schools type stuff, so that you get some of that.
Some of the historical stuff too, a little bit of that. I mean,
We could probably work on some of that in August, so that way it's out before Labor Day.
Yeah.
You might want to do it a little bit sooner than that.
Well, I'm just...
People don't usually want to move to a new school the week of.
Well, I'm just... yeah. Okay. Well, looks like
Otherwise, I think they look good to.
I think the only comment at this point in time then, Hallie, is it looks like our we're going to be busy the next few weeks.
We're good to go. Yep.
Okay, any other questions on Hallie's reports? All right, then we will move on to Midwest Communications with Cameo and Connor, and they can walk us through this and
step up to a microphone.
Answer the questions. Yes, and turn your microphone on and use your outdoor voice and swallow the microphone so that it comes through loud and clear.
Hello?
Yeah, let's not need disinfectant though, please.
First of all, whenever you were saying anybody gets served ads in Merrill, well, we have this one tactic where if you go to the City of Merrill's website, you could get served ads because of the fact you were interested in the city. But most people that live around here aren't going to that page. So if they are going to the page, they're interested in Merrill. So it's okay. And the impression level, it's pennies, really.
Right.
So Connor is actually going to be doing most of the review because he's the numbers guy. And so here you go.
Sure. All right. Everyone has a copy, right? Or
Yes.
Okay. So we're running a couple of different tactics. So I'll kind of shift through this. Right away on that first page is all about retargeting. That's our display retargeting. And it's mixing in impressions and performance from our video retargeting we're doing as well. And so in the time period listed at the top there, April 1st through June 19th, we've served over 425,000 video and display ads, 378 clicks for a 0.09% click-through rate. And that seems a little low because we did mix in, the video performance KPIs there. And it breaks down to a very granular level, trust me, on the next few pages. But looking at just the display ads, we're at a 0.11% click-through rate, and for retargeting, national average is about 0.05 to 0.08. So we're above the national average there. The ads are doing very well. The total actions there, I break it down into the site and search actions, which are essentially online conversions, meaning someone has seen the ads and then they came to the City of Merrill page without clicking on it. So it's just kind of increasing that brand awareness. People are seeing the ads, and if you're like me, I don't click on an ad. I open a new tab and I'll search what was on the ad. It's a trust issue thing. So the site search actions there, 185 times people had seen the ads, they didn't click on it, they still came to the page. So in that time frame, April 1st to June 19th, we had 563 online visits just due to the retargeting ads. And then the geo actions there, 14. That's when someone saw, and we're tracking geo actions with only a couple of different tactics. Our geo optimize, we call it. Which is how we're blanketing the zip codes of like Chicago and Milwaukee and the Twin Cities. So if someone saw the ads and then came within the city limits of Merrill, that's what that's tracking. So that happened 14 times in the time frame that we're reporting on. Any questions?
I want to mention that the area that we have for that 14 is the roundabout. So if they didn't come through the roundabout, it doesn't really count because I don't want to do Walmart or that area because if somebody's just stopping in, I don't want that to be an actual, they didn't come to Merrill because they just went on the outskirts of the highway. So we got probably more than that, but that's why. It's because it's right in the middle of town.
I have a question. You said the ads are doing well. Is there any particular ad that's outperforming the others significantly?
Yeah. So, and I took notes on mine because our pie graph here, it tries to report on every size of the ad, but we're running 6 different sizes for each ad, so it gets a little jumbled. We have the jobs focused ad, houses, schools, and then we did run a food truck one as well. Out of all of them so far, the houses, Merrill Houses had the best performance as far as both clicks and actions. It had a 0.13% click-through rate and another 55 people who saw the ad and then came to the Merrill page. So that one's pretty significantly outperforming the other ones.
That's a good one we'd want too. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and we on the next page, second one in, we have the 90-day overview, which we're essentially looking at right now. Clicks and actions, days of the week. Huge one for clicks has been Sunday, which Sunday and Monday, it's averaging out pretty fairly among the beginning of the week. Just kind of when people are taking the time to click on the ad, click through and read about Merrill on the city page there. And then, that pie graph on how it all breaks down. Again, it kind of goes towards the houses ad, then the jobs, and then food trucks and schools were kind of tied in their performance as far as clicks and actions.
So a question on that.
Yeah.
Right now, is everything pretty balanced as far as where the money is going, or would there be any benefit to possibly putting a little bit more emphasis on the housing ads since they're getting attention and that really is kind of what we want people to come here and live?
So, no, that's a good question. And right now, the system is set up to kind of optimize itself. If one is getting significantly more clicks and actions, more traction, it's going to push more impression towards it on its own until we start to see that even back out, and then it reallocates a little bit. Right now, the budget is spent evenly among them. Splitting them up is something we can do, but I've found we see a lot of consistent performance by letting the system kind of optimize itself over time.
Okay.
Are there things, now you say it directs, or a lot of it directs back to the city pages, city website. So if we had more information on the city website about some housing, would that be a good way to kind of, to...
The less you can, the less people have to search for the information, the more likely they're going to stick around on that page, and, the bounce rate will be a lot lower.
Maybe having some information on the new housing that we're doing. Because, how many new apartments are we getting built? We have the higher end, and we have the lower end. So just having like some numbers on, hey, on the average, we have this many apartments available and this price structure, or this many in this price structure, and this many houses on average over 5 years. Because you don't want to use this current last year because the housing is so tight. But have on the average, this is how many houses are, available in the Merrill area. Something like that. But don't use the last 2 years.
Perfect. So on page 4, we're on the video retargeting KPIs. This is your OTT, over the top, your streaming television. That people are watching more and more every year of. So in this time frame, just under 70,000 impressions went towards videos. We had over 65,000 of those were completes. All of our videos are non-skippable, so our completion rate is very high, just under 95%. The only way someone is not completing a video is if they turn off their TV in the middle of a commercial break, which does happen.
Or they back out of the video.
Yeah.
That's,
they're
I've
changing
seen
the channel on Pluto or something.
yeah, I've seen my wife do that way too often. Seeing as she doesn't want to see, and kunk, and it's like, it would have been over in a few seconds. Just like,
Ready for that political.
Retargeting page 5, all the whole page just for definitions there. But again, if you guys are reviewing this on your own and have any questions, please reach out to us. Retargeting summary grid there, the performance by tactic, this is where it really can get pretty technical. The first 6 tactics there are all video based, and you'll see small screen as well as just the regular OTT. That's because we're splitting it evenly between mobile and large screen OTT ads right now. Because more and more people are watching on their phones. I also really like the small screen video, because people can click through more easily on their phone than they can sitting watching on their smart TVs. The last 5 tactics there, those are all the display tactics that we're using. So we used a bit of addressable geofencing, geo-optimize, and addressable geofencing, that's funneling ads right into the households of the target audience we're going after. The geo-optimize is more of a blanket over the zip codes of the bigger cities that we're targeting. Geofence, we did have a couple of geofences that are listed in here, so targeting specific businesses and funneling ads into those places. As Cameo mentioned before, site retargeting. If someone comes to the Merrill website, we want to serve them ads, keep their interest in Merrill. And then search and keyword contextual. If someone is researching around Merrill for indicators that they would be interested in moving here or living here, and that can be a number of things between relocation, housing prices, and it's very different than like Google keywords. This is more about just what people are reading, and that's also geographically targeted towards the larger cities that we're going after. So it's a very blended campaign between video and display, and then breaking it down even more granular. That's probably the most complex one.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm jumping early on this. I was reading in there, it looks like the Beaver Dam effort did perform pretty well.
Yeah, I believe that was one of our specific geofences that we had.
Yeah, they had a company closing.
Yeah, they lost a lot of employment there in a small town.
Oh, okay, yep.
And that's something too, if you guys hear about any, big closing that's gonna happen into a small community, let us know and we will be right on it.
Absolutely. These are very fluid campaigns, nothing set in stone. So another reason why I really like these meetings, it just gives us an opportunity to brainstorm other places, other, events that we might be able to target. The next couple pages there, it breaks down every single ad by size, and, I kind of talked a little bit about how each of those are performing. Obviously, we can't play the video ad through the printout. So I'm going to skip past those a little bit. Okay, and then we did have two specific business geofences, and that was ConAgra. Okay.
Yeah, that's the place that went out of business.
Okay, perfect. And then, Window and Doors Factory of St. Hawkins. And we geofenced those temporarily around their closings to get them to consider Merrill. Location performance, that's based on IP address, but, I look at the top three of this, and Chicago, Minneapolis, St. Paul, there is Wausau in there. We did target some of the food truck ads a little bit more locally, so that's why that would appear fairly high up there. And then, I do know Chicago, Chicago's up top. There was one other one that I saw on here. But so, if someone from Chicago started seeing the ads and then came to Merrill, it would actually show up as a Merrill impression. So I take the location performance a bit with a grain of salt. But yeah. Keyword performance, again, what people are researching in regards to Merrill. Sometimes it's the weather, should I relocate here? Retirement, what's the traffic like there? Because we have so much busy traffic here.
3:30.
Yeah. What the healthcare is like. So just, top keywords people might be researching or reading about in regards to Merrill that would indicate they might have an interest in moving here. And then the addressable geofencing. And this was, I believe, where we served the food truck ads the most, was funneling the ads right into the houses of some of the more local people to get them to come. But we are no longer running that tactic right now. Any questions so far?
You have one addressable geofencing performance for all, and we're last with 661. Just explain that. This page is that?
That'd be on page 14, I think you're looking at.
Yes,
and
14 of 25.
And I think the best route, or the best way to describe that is we're trying to target people outside of Merrill to move here. That's our main focus.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha.
Perfect.
Are you directing some of the housing towards Wausau, though? I mean, I guess because, a lot of people are, if they're working in Wausau and having a hard time finding housing and can still find housing within 20 minutes, people are willing to drive 20 minutes if,
That is something we should consider. Being that I work in Wausau and work with a lot of businesses in Wausau, the blanket from what I'm hearing on why Katie Rosenberg is no longer the mayor is because of the fact that she wasn't doing anything to push new housing. They talked about it, but they are not doing anything. Nothing's in plan. And a lot of people are seeing what we're doing, and they're kind of pissed off that Wausau's dormant and we're building. So we have this huge advantage. And yeah, I think we should brag about it.
It's happening down there without city's help, though. I mean, you go around in the parade of homes, and there's new home after new home.
Those are top, high end. We're talking apartments.
Yep.
People just starting out.
When we originally talked about this, we talked about not, what do we want to call it, cannibalizing the local economies. But they're doing it to us. I think we should do it to them.
And I think LaDonna has a point in saying, Wausau does have obviously a lot of jobs to fill as well as us. But so why couldn't Merrill be the place? And I mean, I know several. I think one of my parents at one point in time was obviously living here but working in Wausau for so long. That's just,
Both Connor and I commute.
Can I
We both
just-
live in Merrill, and we both work in Wausau.
Mention too that you have to give credit though to real estate agents though. So if people are looking to move, they're more than likely talking to an agent. If they're doing their job, they're going to be asking how far out of Wausau are they going to be willing to move to. So targeting Wausau necessarily could work, but obviously they do kind of already maybe have an idea how far away Merrill is and what the economy or whatever. So I don't know.
Right.
Just my 2 cents.
well, and I'm not saying like targeting Wausau patrons personally. I'm just stating like if someone from Chicago wants to move up here, but they want to work in Wausau, it's like why not, still target those
Yeah,
types of
that
people.
20-minute commute compared to the Chicago commute is
Exactly.
nothing.
That, I mean.
Don't miss it.
And also, the taxes are substantially different.
Between Wausau and Merrill.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, Merrill is
Merrill's higher.
No.
Eh. Merrill is
Why?
extremely.
Were we going to be scared next year when we see our bill?
Not from the city.
I guess that's just something that we can keep in mind for future directions when, because I do think, and like you said, Rod, well, we don't want to cannibalize them, but on the same token, part of the disadvantage we have with so much of growing Maryland anyway is because we are so close to Wausau that people don't care if they drive 15 minutes to go to a bigger store because the bigger stores don't want to have, another one in Merrill that's 15 minutes away. So it kind of, is the reverse side of it. So I think there's definitely reasons to look at it. Mm-hmm.
It's more a bedroom.
Yeah. And make the most of it. If that's what it is, then let's make the most of it.
Maybe run a little test, the housing ad only to some of the Wausau zips and just see if we see any uptick in anything.
We can do that.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Midwest on their report?
I just want to say it's looking really, really good. I mean, if we're above all these national averages with almost everything, it looks like, and we're getting out there. So thank you for all the work you're doing.
Oh, thank you for choosing us. I was talking to Renee at the county, and she said that she had a survey done with tourism and with people where they're coming from, and it really mirrored with what we're doing. So people are coming.
That's good to hear.
Mhm.
She said that she'd be more than willing to share that information with you guys too.
Awesome.
Good to know.
All right. I will entertain a motion to place the monthly reports on file then.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yeah. Motion's passed. Public comment. Anyone on the phone for public comment? Otherwise, I guess we will take the last call for public comment. Thank you. Next meeting Thursday, July 18th at 5:15. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
That's the same as it has.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.